I'm going to show you how great I am. That's the mentality of Phillip Rivers. And when you look at this football team, I mean, I'll admit, hey, look, I'm wrong once a season. But when I see
only
it, like,
once a season,
but I'll admit, like right here, look, this team leads the league in offense, in total offense, and they're second in the league in total defense. And we already had Brew. You put up a tape on their special teams.
Yeah.
This is a complete football team. And if this guy stays upright, if they can protect him, they got a great offensive line, then they can do some serious damage. We'll see. Look, I love Phillip Rivers, and man, oh man, I'll admit, I was wrong.
Wow.
Well,
Can we replay things immediately? Is that possible?
Well, please let me piggyback. Hey, Phillip Rivers, I am second to raise my hand, and I'm the first to apologize to you, man-to-man, face-to-face. When I look at the Indianapolis Colts and what they've been able to do, things didn't start out good in Indianapolis. But one thing that I'll commend Phillip Rivers for is how he's been able to take this offense to the next level. Everybody's been talking about, well, where is T.Y. Hilton at? Well, that's not Phillip Rivers' approach. He's been able to find guys like Zach Pascal. You talking about Michael Pittman Jr. You got Naheem Hines coming out of the backfield. So offensively for the Indianapolis Colts, we know what they're doing on defense led by DeForest Buckner with that cover two. But, hey, things didn't look good starting out in Indianapolis, and we was all wondering when were they going to start lighting the scoreboard up. But as of lately, you talking about proving somebody wrong. When I played 14 years in the National Football League, I always wanted that comeback, Phillip Rivers. So, hey, man, I'm first to say I apologize. Keep doing your thing. I like everything that's going on in Indianapolis. But third time, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Lord knows, though, if he has a bad game today, he'll be like, maybe I wasn't all that wrong. I do want to say, in Phillip's defense, we talked about this a little bit when we sat down. Look, the kind of offseason this was, it's not like he had time to get to know who he was throwing to. You know, he needed a bit of a preseason, if you will. It actually was telling when I asked him just for fun, like, who of your teammates would you call to babysit in a pinch? You could tell he was like, wait, all right, I got to think through all my guys. I don't even know these guys yet. You know, it's still very new. He did say Jack Doyle, by the way. That was his final response. But I do think there's something to be said for the time he's now having with these guys that he's playing with. I think the question now is, are they the better team than the Titans based off what you've seen so far?
I mean, if Phillip Rivers has everything right, I think this team can go as far as they want to, but he is going to go as far as, like you guys are saying, as far as that defense continues to make plays and the offensive line gives them time. Now, do I think, hey, Phillip Rivers, it doesn't matter. You're in a shootout with whatever quarterback it is, you can still do it. I don't think that, because, I'm sorry, but just the structure of a play breakdown, and I see Phillip Rivers trying to scramble out the pocket, the play's over. That's just the way it is. So Phillip Rivers has to be on time, but the Colts definitely are one of those teams that can come out of nowhere and surprise a lot of people because of their special teams units making splash plays, their defense making splash plays, got an outstanding rookie in Justin Blackmon, those type of things. But the Tennessee Titans, that type of mentality, this is a huge game because the Tennessee Titans come for you every single quarter. And they want to finish it in the fourth quarter, and that's the mentality I respect. It's a mentality that Derrick Henry just leans on you, and that's what they got to watch out for today.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's a lot to watch for in this one to see what's going on going forward. Matt, let's bring you back in here. What do you think the real difference maker will be in today's game?
Well, first, I'd like to confirm with what Phillip Rivers said. Jack Doyle, trustworthy babysitter. But the wide receiver that I think is most dangerous in this game is got to be for the Tennessee Titans, A.J. Brown. To me,
for today's game, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of highlights in this one, maybe some lowlights, depending on how this relationship between Bruce Arians and Tom Brady goes. Our Jeff Darlington, who is there in Tampa, is probably sick of talking about this relationship. Jeff, I was thinking, it kind of reminds me about like the early Facebook days when you were constantly changing your relationship to it's complicated, we're together, we're not. What's the current status of this relationship?
Well, Sam, I've been equally fascinated by the harsh candor with which Bruce Arians uses when he assesses Tom Brady's game, and I did express that to some people close to Brady, and I was surprised that I actually got kind of pushed back on a little bit, that Brady is okay with the way things are. He knew coming down to Tampa that this is how Arians is, and he actually kind of is amused by it. Now, there are no regrets on the part of Brady. He loves it down here in Tampa, and he knows that what also comes with some of those harsh public sentiments is no BS from Arians, that it's a pretty good lifestyle. Now, does that mean that things are perfect in Tampa? No, not by any means. Brady wants to see better midweek preparations, better situational planning, so that at the end of games, like the one against the Rams, they're in a better spot. Speaking with high-ranking Bucs sources, they say that they feel like they recognize that, and they have worked this week to try to make some corrections in that area. So are things aligned perfectly? No. But are relationships fractured here in Tampa? No, they are not. This is a team that still has optimism that they can get things back on the right track, Sam.
Yeah, Jeff, and we got to remember, too, that even in the late years of Bill Belichick, remember there were whispers of these two aren't getting along perfectly. That's just human nature and relationships. I want to bring in Matt Hasselbeck here. Matt, you heard what Jeff said there about Brady being okay with this. You got to know from a quarterback's perspective, he did his homework. He knew what he was getting into with Bruce Arians. But what do you think the key for this offense between those two is today?
Yeah, listen, quarterback criticism, that's just part of the job. You gotta have skin like an armadillo, as they say. But, getting this offense back on track, you got to get Tom Brady back on track. How do you do that? You got to start running the football. The Bucs are not calling runs. They call a run 30% of the time. That's just, it's shocking to me. You want to help Tom Brady? Help the guys up front. Give them more tools in their toolbox. They have an adequate runner. Ronald Jones, he's 5th in the NFL in rushing, yet in the last 5 weeks, he's averaging 11 carries a game. Sometimes you can get a little too creative, a little too cute. You get, a little too distracted with the wide receivers and all the weapons and the tight ends that you have, and you forget to run the football. And I think that's what we're seeing in Tampa. We're seeing a team that gets away from the run way too quickly, and for that reason, I think you're seeing a quarterback who's under duress too much.
Yeah, Matt, I think that makes sense in terms of who he's got back there. But you got to know, when it's a Bruce Arians team, this guy doesn't want to run the ball. The screen game is the run game for him. So, Rex, when you look at from a coaching perspective, is some of this just stubbornness because that's not his thing? Like, what are you seeing there?
Yeah, I think we all assumed, at least I did, that Bruce Arians would adopt to Tom Brady. You got one of the greatest that's ever done it, and he's the greatest winner in our sport. So to me, adjust that way. When is the last time no risk it, no biscuit worked? We've seen it ruin Jameis Winston, right? He threw for 5,000 yards. He had some pluses, but he also turned it over 30 times. And then going back to Carson Palmer, his last days in Arizona, he had some struggles. So to me, this is not new for a quarterback coming in. I was hoping Bruce Arians would adjust to Tom Brady. That's certainly what I would have done with a great player like that. But, this no risk it, no biscuit, I think needs to be thrown outy.
Yeah, well, Bruce Arians isn't going to change who he is, Sam. He's the one that Rex is right. What he's done for so long, this is what I believe works, and this is what I want to do. I still believe, even within those plays, those deep shot plays, you don't want a 43-year-old quarterback leading the league in 20-plus yard completions, all right? Attempts. So there's always the quarterback that has the ultimate control. I can drop it off to my running back. I can still select something underneath, but it's just hard when your running backs can't catch. And that's what they have in Tampa Bay. Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, they're just not anything close to what, let's say Kevin Falk, James White, any of these type of guys that Brady depended on for so long, just like this right there. I want to look downfield. I want to get an easy 5. Just get it for me, man. I know that's a screen, but you got to catch that too and get those easy. Take a profit. Don't go broke, take a profit. Tom Brady believes in that. But if I can't even do that, fellas, all right, well, I'll just throw it deep then. And that's where the conflict is. He has no running backs that can provide him that 3, 4, 5-yard gain easy like that.
Drew, you nailed it. They're behind the sticks so often. And Matt talked about run the football. Now you stay ahead of the sticks. If those guys can catch the ball, I get it. But man, oh man, it's that philosophy that just doesn't work for me.
We keep talking about the Tampa Bay Bucs to run the football. When Tom Brady became a Tampa Bay Buck, let me tell you this. Bruce Arians wasn't ready to run the football with Tom Brady. Seen all the success that Tom Brady had in the air up in Foxborough? He wants it there in Tampa. But I think there's one concern for me. When I look at the games that the Tampa Bay Bucs lost this year, with the Rams, you got the Bears, you got the Saints twice. It's the confidence in Tom Brady. I think his confidence is shot. And the reason why each week I keep talking about the offensive line play for Tom Brady. You just talked about the inability to protect Jameis Winston with a league-high 30-something interceptions. What I've seen in Tom Brady and his confidence and the reason why it's shot is because Have you ever seen a guy driving, standing up, looking through the windshield? Well, that's the quarterback position. When you're not a mobile quarterback, that's what you want to be able to look through when you're stepping up in the pocket. Tom Brady, when he steps up, he's not moving left. He's not moving right. He wants to step up in the pocket. And we keep saying it week in, Tom Brady's not going to steal any yards at the quarterback position. So I think going forward for me, looking at the Tampa Bay Bucs offense tonight in a big game like this, going against Patrick Mahomes and this Kansas City Chiefs team, they got a defensive tackle, and Chris Jones is one of the best in the National Football League. I just alluded to Tom Brady being uncomfortable because of his inability to step up in the pocket. Today, in order for Tom Brady to be comfortable to deliver that ball to his pass catchers, he has to be able to step up in that pocket. If he's able to do that, that's giving him all the confidence in the world that they can beat these defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, and if Tom Brady's uncomfortable, Patrick Mahomes is comfortable. And no matter what position you put him in, because, I mean, you put pressure in his face, I'll just drop back to about 15 yards and still flick it with my wrist. Where has the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense been? You know, all those great players we try to mention early on, the Devin Whites and all these guys making big plays to help out the offense. That hasn't happened yet. And so this offense of the Kansas City Chiefs, I just see them scoring on them. So Brady may have to keep up with Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
And that's when that pressure is going to come in, because Patrick Mahomes, just like just all through the course of the year, slow build. He knows when it counts, and all of a sudden he's